Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning on your Tuesday morning. How you doing? It's your friend Dave Double Pop back with you on New Mercy Mornings for your Tuesday. You got through Monday. You're in one piece. Everything's good, right? We'll look to the Lord and everything's going to turn out just fine like it always does, right? So stay with us all throughout the morning. We'll have some burst-ins. We'll talk in throughout the day, out the morning, and we'll tell some stories. We'll talk some scripture. We'll do whatever it takes for us to make it through smoothly, okay? Double Pop Worship Zone on your Tuesday morning. Hang in with us all morning long. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, Tuesday morning, 10 minutes to the hour. Well, you know what happens at 10 minutes to the hour, don't you? Scripture time. Because why? Well, Jesus, of course. Hello. He's what we do here, right? Indeed. It is Psalm 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. You're in trouble again, aren't you? I knew you were in trouble again. I could just tell. You're in some kind of trouble. I feel it. From this side of the airwaves, I could feel the trouble. They caught you, didn't they? You're in some kind of trouble. I can tell. Well, isn't it amazing? We have a God who's as incredible as He is, who's ever present and a refuge in these times, right? Well, yeah, it's pretty much that simple. You know, when things aren't going exactly the way we want them to, we should be able to hide under the Lord's refuge. Just go right to Him. He's ever present. And we should be able to just, okay, what's my next move? Okay, go to God. All right, I got a problem here. Okay, what do I do? Get the Lord involved. It's really quite that easy, okay? It's not like it's an underground syndicate of any kind where you gotta act like nobody's ever heard of him, okay? Just run to him. Who wouldn't? You know, the Lord has a way of getting us through these times. You know, what's trouble to us is not trouble to God. We see trouble. Our minds, our feeble little brains manufacture trouble. We make trouble. We put ourselves in trouble that we're really not in. It looks like trouble. It feels like trouble. But to God, it's like another day at the office. You know, when we run it, I mean, obviously there's insurmountable things, okay, that we can do that, you know. But even in those times, I mean, we say insurmountable. What's insurmountable for God? If we've done something wrong, really wrong, you know still, even then, the Lord is there by your side with you. What happens next? He'll help you through it. But as far as all the other things goes, and this is 99% of the quote-unquote trouble we get into, is it really trouble? Did you ever have like that situation where you say to yourself, like you're the night before and you got your mind worked up about something that's going to happen, you think is going to happen the next day? I can't tell you how many times I've been in this spot. I think this is going to happen. It's going to be, it's going to unfold this way, and the other way. Somebody's going to say this, and this, and that. And then by the same time, the next night, you're wondering what you ever worried about. Okay? It was not really trouble. It was not really a problem. It was invented by your mind. Today's the day. If something's going on, just go to him. Just go to the Lord. Just stop everything. Just say, God, I need you to take over this. I can't do this. My feeble little brain cannot handle this moment. And He knows that. Just seek Him. even in what you think is trouble, but you're probably not really in trouble. I'll let you know when you're in trouble. Double Pop Worship Zone, Tuesday morning. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, 20 minutes to the hour on your Tuesday. How you doing? So my wife and I had a discussion one day not that long ago. It was pretty interesting. And I find there's a lot of people just like her that I was amused and amazed to find out, as they say, amused and amazed to find out this is the situation. Yeah. How often have you ever gone out and dined alone? Okay. Ate out, like you were out somewhere, you took yourself out, you stopped, you ate a whole meal by yourself. Nobody with you, no company, no anything. She had never done that. She said she has never done that in her entire life. And then as we talked about it, I asked other people and I found out there are literally bunches and bunches of people that say they have never taken themselves out for a meal and sat there and ate it in the restaurant. I was a little shocked about that. I have dined out alone. I've gone to a movie alone, movies alone. I've gone to concerts alone. I have gone to a lot of things by myself. I used to do a whole lot of stuff by myself. All the time. Did you always want to be alone? No. Sometimes people just couldn't go. They couldn't do. And then many years later, I found out another younger friend actually went and did something by themselves. I was like, wow, at least there's hope for that, that people will do things like that. But nowadays, very few people go anywhere, and especially younger people, seldom if ever go out any place and dine alone. And then it hit the perfect target. Our grandson Icon, who thinks nothing of going out and dining alone. And I was like, yeah, I mean, Ikey's always been kind of the one most like me anyway. And to find out that he has absolutely no issue in pulling in somewhere, sitting down to a meal in a place totally by himself, ordering it, whatever, and that's how he is, and that's how he is. And I was like, that is just the coolest thing to know, that there are occasionally people that are still willing to do it, and that it may survive. It may survive another generation of doing that. And I was so impressed that I have not surveyed the grandchildren over who has done this, but if I had to take a guess, I'm gonna go down the line here. Mike may have. I'm gonna say Mike has probably done that. Christian, maybe. Breolyn, no. Mike, I mean, Icon has already done it, as we said. I'll go over Danielle. Nah, not gonna happen. Aubrey, no, that's not gonna happen. Aaron, I wouldn't rule it out with Aaron. Gunner, maybe. Yeah, maybe that could happen with Gunner. I could say Jasmine, no, not gonna happen. Eleanor, no, not gonna happen. So yeah, I'm gonna say it would probably hit maybe a 30%, probably working right on the gender line. Okay, so the males would, 3 of the males would be more likely to do it. And then I'm going to say maybe, I don't know if I had to pick a female that might do it. I guess I would say maybe Aubrey might try it. But if I had to pick one female that would try that. Still, it's a rare thing. Let me know in the Facebook group page if this was a regular thing for you. My wife said she had never ever done that in her life. Never been to a movie alone. Never really did any activity alone. And I found it strange. I used to do stuff alone all the time. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Mornings. Tuesday. Double Pop, Worship Zone, New Mercy Mornings, 20 after the hour. One of your favorite parts of the day, and of course mine as well. Holidays and observances for August 11th today. Here we go. Son and Daughter Day, a day to spend extra time with your children. That's a given. I don't think that should be a holiday. I don't know, it's just me. Play in the sand day. Yeah, perfect. Go, sandcastles. Go to the beach, right? Perfect thing to do on August 11th, right? For sure. Presidential Joke Day. Well, isn't every day that now too? That's kind of like Son and Daughter Day. I mean, that's just a way of life these days. Okay, is political humor for sure. And let's see. National Raspberry Bomb Day celebrates the classic molded ice cream dessert. I don't think I even have a clue as to what that is. A raspberry bomb. Couldn't tell you what it was if I tried. And it has ice cream too, apparently. So I should know this, but I simply don't. One thing I do know that's next is Raspberry Tart Day. Yeah, I used to make lots of tarts in the bakery for sure. Tarts were big. Tarts are popular. They're still popular. People go and get little tart pies all the time. I see like when I'm in the bakery, once in a while that people are always asking for them. Still a thing. That's great. And okay, here's one. National Panini Day. Yeah, paninis. Paninis rock, really. Okay, paninis are quite good. If you've never had a panini, okay, look, I'm Italian, so supposedly this is an Italian sandwich of some kind. I love hearing about things that are Italian, stuff I never had in my life, okay? And I grew up with nothing but Italian relatives, okay? Like Olive Garden, okay? Like when people talk about Olive Garden, didn't you have all that sauce with all that cream and everything? It's like, no, there wasn't a single bit of cream in anything my grandmother ever made. Everything was pasta and vegetables and meatballs. That was their life. There was never anything full of cream sauce. But paninis, never had a panini. With no idea what that was until they became all the rage. I'm going to say about 15, 20 years ago, like in the early 2000s when that became a thing. And the next thing you know, there's all these presses for them. Everybody was selling them on TV. If you've never had one before, okay, it's a type of sandwich with a bread, and it's a thick kind of I don't know how to say it, almost like trying to describe the kind of bread that it's used for. It's a little thick. I don't know. I'm at a loss on that. And you put it on top of a press and you fold a bunch of stuff in there, and you have to put a lot of cheese in it. And you fold it over and it seals the sandwich and it grills it on both sides and whatever. And it kind of makes like a pocket, like a hot pocket. But only you call it a panini now. And it was Italian because you put Italian sort of stuff in it. You could put Italian cold cuts and prosciutto and all that stuff, and you eat the sandwich like that, and they are really, really good. They're gooey. They're full of cheese. They're almost like a calzone in a sandwich in some ways. So that's a panini if you've never had one before. So if you're driving by a place, okay, because every time we go by one, okay, I always point out to my wife, look, on a panini, and she, yep, a panini. Go in and go try one day. It's they're usually pretty good. Okay, if you're blessed under $10, and worth the trouble. Pick some. They'll probably offer you. They may have some standard ones, or maybe they'll let you make your own. Pick your own one out and out of certain choices. pretty good. Double Pop Worship Zone on Panini Day. Yeah, Paninis rock. Tuesday Paninis. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, 15 minutes after the hour on your Tuesday. Forgot one very important observance for today: National Hip Hop Day. So we want to extend a special greeting today to our friends Christian J and Mr. Pickney and the likes. For National Hip Hop Day, we have to celebrate our Christian hip hop guys, because they do an amazing job telling their story. As Christian J pointed me to a Bible verse. I want to read it to you real quick. It's Psalm 37, verse 23 to 24. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Though he may stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. You know, my wife and I, I'm reaching that age. I've talked about it a few times, how getting up there, close to those years of, making big decisions for our life. The decisions are not easy. It's this point of your life is a little, I don't know, how do I say it? It's not all cracked up to be, because it could be a little scary. And, we're trying to decide what's best for us right now. There's things we want to do, and we don't necessarily know we want to stay where we are, and we don't know if we want to leave here, and we don't know what we want to do right about now. Some things sound good, but we don't know how. Will they be good? You don't know. And about 10 years ago, the opportunity to kind of take that leap of faith, that step of faith, and we didn't do it. And sometimes I regret it, but it turns out to be it was a good decision not to make it. But this is requiring a lot of prayer, a lot of guidance, and sort of praying that the Lord makes the decision easier, that he shows a path of some kind for us. But what if he doesn't? What if he's just saying, well, you just got to take that step? And what if he shows it also and he says, okay, take that step? And again, we don't. But right now, we're at a point where we're pretty certain that it's probably the step that does need to be made. And it's scary. Like I said, it's real scary to be around, this age. But this is where the faith aspect, if I want to really show. If I want to really show my faith here, I really have to take that step of faith. And and there's going to be people that are going to try to talk us out of it. There may be people that don't. There may be people that we're making the choice easier on. People's lives around us are changing. There's not a whole lot for us in our area anymore. Our children are growing older, our grandchildren are growing older, everybody's off doing their own thing. It's where we're at, where we're at, as they say. And so, pray with me that we make these decisions, based on, that we make these decisions, based on what the Lord would want for us. And whether it's the right thing, maybe he'll make the path clearer for us and show us that, yeah, this is what I want you to do. Here's the road. Walk it. And sometimes he may present us with a more challenging road and say, walk that. And I want to rely on him for this next move, because this is a major move for us, okay? And I want to reach out to him and pray with us, okay? Because I want what's best more for my wife, really. We want to live in an area that's a little easier for her. In a home, our residence to be a little bit easier for her. She's what I'm thinking of more than anything, and I just want that to be able to be a possibility for her. And so, the next moves are coming. I'm 18 months away from 65, and I want to have a good next season of life for sure, and I want the same for my wife. And our Lord's going to take us there. I know He will. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Morning, Tuesday. Double Pop Worship Zone, New Mercy Mornings, 15 minutes after the hour. So, every once in a while, I got to say, I get sick of something, but when I look at the big picture, okay, I don't know, maybe I'm a little comforted by this, but whatever. The people, I for one, I'm kind of tired of the people I've wronged in this world. That I'm quick to be accountable. I apologize. I mean, I may get people upset from time to time. Okay, I think we all do. Nobody's wonderful when it comes to that. And so, but when I'm wrong, okay, I'm very quick to be very accountable for it, and kind of get it on the record that I'm sorry and I'm seeking, someone's forgiveness or whatever. And yet, on the other hand, though, on the opposite side of that, very little of that, in fact, almost never do I get that back when people have wronged me. And little is done to account for it. And so, there's no apologies, there's no anything, no accountability whatsoever. And, the crazy thing about that is that, I guess the way people view things is that as long as there's no accountability for it, it didn't really happen because they didn't really wrong you. They must be in the right, because they always are. It's for everybody else, it's often a no-fault world. And you as the believer, okay, the follower, oftentimes have to say, what the heck? Right? I'm throwing myself out there and being accountable, but you don't get accountability back. And then, you come to the conclusion that many times they say, well, you're accountable because, well, you're the Christian, you're the believer. Okay? Romans 14:12 says, so then each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. And, we give an account of, it just shows that we're willing to be accountable, okay, to each other for peace and to the Lord for forgiveness and all. But we're willing to do that, whereas others aren't. You don't get that because they haven't given their lives to Christ like you have. And it's kind of, to me, often the true sign of who in your life has given themselves to the Lord. And I could be wrong to assess it this way, because I'm sure there's believers who aren't very accountable at times, and if that's the case, then, at some point they still will be. But maybe it's something with me that I haven't gauged this correctly, that I see that if there's people that aren't willing to be accountable in your life, that they just, well, there's something that isn't living in them, and that's Jesus. And that Jesus is living in you because you're willing to put yourself out there. And it matters to you how this ends. Whereas to others, it may not matter to them how it ends. They don't care whether they've got your forgiveness or not. They don't care. They don't think they have anything to be forgiven for. It's a to everybody else. When we say it's a no fault world, that's about as easy as saying, okay, it's not a world with God anymore. Everybody is in a no fault situation. Okay, I mean, in the end, Jesus will make us. Will take on and has taken on our sins, but it's not really no fault. I mean, we all have to be accountable. In a no fault world, you don't really have to be. There's people who have a no fault divorce. Nobody's blaming the other. They're saying just things are broken down and we don't want to be married anymore. That's a no fault divorce. No fault accident. We'll each fix our own cars. Somebody was probably to blame. In most marriages, somebody's often more responsible than the other. There's no such thing as equal. But I think it's just kind of the way of things have gone these days, where everybody just doesn't feel that they owe anybody an apology, or maybe just they don't feel like they owe me one. I don't know. But I will still be accountable till the day I die. I will still be ready to accept fault. I can't speak for how others behave. I can't speak for how others act, and I can't be accountable for how others act. I can only be accountable for myself. And I pray that that's the way it continues for me for the remainder of my days. And I'll remain that way because I don't know really any other way. Double Pop Worship Zone on your Tuesday. Double Pop Worship Zone Tuesday, ending the day. We are at the end, 10 minutes to the hour. We will move on from there. Don't forget, right after noontime today, New Mercy Morning Encore stuff will be posted. If you missed anything this morning, you'll be able to catch it all. So fear not. There's no concern with that. And tonight, don't forget, Night Flight is on. Get you rested, get you ready for tomorrow, and then we'll be back with you tomorrow for Double Pop Worship Zone to get the day going once again. So, in the meantime, I pray Jesus leaves the light on for you, and I wish you nothing but peace.